What is up, ladies and gentlemen?
It is time for another HOAdventure vlog. This is Leo Manahan with
Marielle Bansil from 2AR4. In today's video, we would like to invite you on our journey to one of the oldest churches in the country, the Santa Monica Parish Church in Bansil, Mira, province of Capiz.
Alrighty, let's get started. Hey partner, I have some trivia for you. Did you know that the largest bell in our country and the largest church bell in Asia can be found in Santa Monica Parish Church in Panay, Capiz?
That is right, Leo. It's called the Dakumandanay, which is translated into Big Bell, and it was said to be the bell that was made by melting and casting the sacks of coins that were donated by the townspeople during the Spanish era.
Let me tell you some history about the Santa Monica Parish Church. It was built by an Augustinian priest, Father Miguel Murguia, in the year 1774. But this church received a lot of renovation and restoration processes. Did you know that the church got heavily damaged by a typhoon on January 17, 1875?
Oh yes, I've heard of this unfortunate news. I am glad to know that we built in 1884 under the supervision of Father Jose Veloso. Grabe! There are a lot of interesting things to know about this church. Tara, let's talk about the church's architectural elements by breaking them down into two parts: the church itself and its belfry.
Yes, when you first visit the Latin cross-shaped church structure, a Baroque coral stone church facade may be observed along the plaza's great red brick expanse.
The pilasters, niches, sculptures, windows, and openings were all set in a balanced pattern, giving the church's exterior a good symmetrical balance and absolute proportion.
Contrast in the mass composition of the church is very evident, from its form to the use of lines, variation of size and mass, direction and treatment.
That is right, Leo. You can see that the elements present were straight, curved, and in a regular pattern. The arrangement of the openings, horizontal, vertical lines, and the details contrast one another.
The paired pilasters and horizontal ledges with niches for saint statues give a simple yet one-of-a-kind appearance of the church. These pilasters also vary in size but have the same direction, contributing to the contrast of size in the form.
The repetition of these elements give rhythm to it, and the unity of the church promotes it.
Folks, let us now focus on the details of the facade, which is divided horizontally into three levels by ledges. Moreover, it includes 8 sets of 2 pilasters.
As we can see, the first level has one archtree, wooden main portal with a historical markers. Niches of St. Augustine and St. Thomas were found along both sides of the entrance.
In addition, a central niche, arched windows, sculpture moldings, and a rose window view out over the plaza, and pineapple-shaped finials can also be found at the top of the structure.
Those finials are a colonial emblem of hospitality that signifies a Chinese cultural influence.
Let us now proceed to the 5-story octagonal belfry attached to the church.
On the first 2 levels of the belfry, semicircular windows were located. A circular clock detail is also incorporated into the tower.
Inside the belfry, 8 smaller bells surrounding the largest bell in the middle is a popular tourist attraction. The large bell, 7 feet diameter, a height of 5 feet, and weighs 23,000 pounds.
Now, did you know that there's a Spanish inscription mark on the bell's face, which translates to "I am God's voice, which I shall echo and praise from one end to the other of the town of Panay, so that the faithful followers of Christ may come to this house of God to receive heavenly graces."
Additionally, at the base of the belfry, there is also a grotto dedicated to Our Lady of Lourdes. A balustrade at the top level of the tower can also be found with a nice view of the town.
The convent and an old Spanish well are also located behind the church.
As we walk to the church, a frontal building approach with its flushed and centered main entrance will welcome us all.
Entering inside the church, the sheath resembles a classic cruciform church plan on a domestic scale. The sanctuary is located in the north, which has a shorter transept. The nave, also known as the south transept, is the longest transept. This shows the contrast of size and direction that represents the body of the cross, which consists of vertical and horizontal elements.
In addition, the east and west transepts were arranged in a formal balanced design. The sanctuary, which houses the altar, is the church's focal point. Based on the news and research that I found, it is also classified as a national cultural treasure.
The walls of the Santa Monica Parish Church are made up of cemented coral stones and are approximately 17 meters long, 25 meters in width, and a height of 18. Its walls are approximately 3 meters thick.
That explains why it stood the test of time. What caught my attention right after we entered was the floor that was made of colorful marbles and stone tiles that gleams in a muted tone in the hazy light, and its central altar that was inspired by a florid Baroque style that was an elaborated retablo. I love how they incorporate and combine the Filipino colonial Baroque style and the neo-classical influence. But unfortunately, I think our time here in Santa Monica is over, Marielle.
Before we go, we have something to say to our beloved viewers. Philippine churches hold a lot of history in our country. It's a significant part of our culture. Despite having influences from Western architecture, these churches have reflected Filipino identity and culture into their design.
For instance, the province of Capiz, where the Santa Monica Church is located, is known for products that are made out of brilliant shells. Because of that, the Santa Monica Church uses coral stone for its walls.
Till our next trip. Paalam!
Paalam!